You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
This notable free agent could still be picked up by the Chicago Bears. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also liking today's video on KIEQ on the Mic. So, Bears fans, on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, I wanted to once again talk about the offensive playmakers that Caleb Williams currently has on the Chicago Bears offense. And the Chicago Bears look really good at wide receiver for the first time in a long time, probably since guys like Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall were on this roster. Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears have done an excellent job of adding so much talent around new rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. We're talking about DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, probably one of the best tandems so far right now in the National Football League. And these two have yet to play a game together in the National Football League. And then, of course, you add Rome Odunze with the number 9 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft, and you have a three-headed monster at receiver for the Chicago Bears offense. So basically, if those guys can stay healthy for Caleb Williams, Williams really should have no issues completing passes to all those guys in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. But then when you look at the second tier of wide receivers for the Chicago Bears, that's when you start seeing a little bit of question marks at the wide receiver position for the Chicago Bears offense. Of course, you have a guy like Velus Jones Jr., which is more of a kick return specialist at this point of his career. Same goes for DeAndre Carter. Carter obviously looked really good with the Los Angeles Chargers a couple of years ago. But for the most part, he is a really dangerous return specialist. You also have second-year man Tyler Scott as well. Had an up-and-down rookie year, showed some flashes in his rookie year, but nothing to write home about. I know that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are probably excited for Tyler Scott in year 2. You also have a guy like Dante Pettis, which is kind of an unreliable option as well, more of a special team guy. You have Colin Johnson, more of a fringe roster guy. Not sure if he's actually going to make the team as a receiver. May make it as a special teamer, but probably not a wide receiver. And then, of course, you have Freddie Swain as well. Does have some history playing under the Shane Waldron offense, but once again, is not a guy to write home about. So there is some concerns if, once again, we talked about this before, there is some concerns if Keenan Allen gets hurt, or DJ Moore gets hurt, or Rome Odunze gets hurt. Would one of those guys be able to step up? And I know there's a lot of Bears fans, including myself, that may be a tad bit concerned that a guy like Velus Jones or Tyler Scott wouldn't be able to step up to the plate. And that's why a guy like Joe Tansey of Bleacher Report has the perfect name that the Chicago Bears could bring into the fold to really address those issues on the second tier, talking about the wide receivers for the Chicago Bears. And he thinks the Chicago Bears should go out and get a guy like Hunter Renfrow. He had this to say, Bears fans: the Bears may not like what they see out of the second tier trio and look to bring in a veteran to fill the number 4 wide receiver spot. Hunter Renfrow's career dropped off over the last few seasons in Las Vegas, but he fits what Chicago could use to complement Moore, Odunze, and Allen. Renfrow could be utilized in third down situations in tight pockets of space in the middle of the field. The Bears just need a possession-based wideout like Renfrow to give Williams one more option in certain situations. He certainly would not be an every down player, but he could have some use when the Bears need to pick up first downs. Bears fans, I believe that we have talked about Hunter Renfrow before. Obviously, he's still available. He's probably one of the better wide receivers available in terms of free agent. And when you look at a guy like Renfrow, he would bring lots to the Chicago Bears offense. And let's really state the obvious. In 2021, Hunter Renfrow was an absolute baller. He had a Pro Bowl year with over 1,000 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns for the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, the Raiders had a coaching change. So his production and success really took a dip when they did make that coaching change. And when you really look at a guy like Hunter Renfrow, he's not the biggest or the fastest, but he is once again a really crafty route runner, much like Keenan Allen. He also has really great hands, and he can really expose those windows, especially in zone coverage from opposing defenses in the National Football League. And he really makes his biggest damage within the slot. So could you imagine having a guy like DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and then in certain situations when you desperately need a play, then you bring in a guy like Hunter Renfrow, which is absolutely crazy to think about Hunter Renfrow bringing the number 4 option on this Chicago Bears offense, because a couple of years ago, he was the number 1 or 2 guy for the Las Vegas Raiders, but now he is looking for a new home, and I think Chicago would be a really good spot for Hunter Renfrow on a cheap 1-year deal. Obviously, he has been a free agent for a while now, so he probably could come on the cheaper side, or Ryan Poles could probably get a deal done for cheap to bring Hunter Renfrow into Chicago. He also has extensive experience as a punt returner as well, so he offers that as well. And teammates and coaches from past teams have talked about his intelligence, always seeming to make the right play at the right time. To me, Hunter Renfrow is absolutely a baller. When you look at his age, he definitely fits the timeline of what the Chicago Bears are looking for as well. He's only 28 years old, so that is definitely good. I think he still has a lot left in the tank. I just think he's looking for a better situation than he was looking at with the Las Vegas Raiders. I do feel at the same time, though, even though Hunter Renfrow would be a really solid option to add to already Keenan Allen, to add to already DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, I do think that Hunter Renfrow was more of a luxury addition for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, meaning that you only get a guy like that if you know you're going to win now, which in some cases, the Bears do have aspirations to make the playoffs as soon as this year and hopefully make it deep into the playoffs as well in Caleb Williams' first season with the Chicago Bears. But adding a guy like Hunter Renfrow would be the cherry on top for the Chicago Bears football team, for the Chicago Bears offense, and for quarterback Caleb Williams. At that point, Caleb Williams would have definitely no excuses to have a big first season with the Chicago Bears. I personally think, Bears fans, that having a former Pro Bowler receiver in Hunter Renfrow as your number 4 wide receiver is definitely not a bad thing for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to consider. But once again, I do understand that it could possibly be a luxury addition, meaning we don't really need him unless you are really concerned about that tier 2 wide receivers in Bayless Jones Jr., Tyler Scott, Dante Pettis, DeAndre Carter. But I do think that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and the Chicago Bears will let training camp go along with the second-tier receivers that we have in Tyler Scott, Bayless Jones, DeAndre Carter, and Dante Pettis. And if those guys don't perform and Hunter Renfrow is still out there, maybe you do go out there and get him. But I do think Hunter Renfrow will probably get picked up prior to start of training camps for most of NFL teams. So if they do want him, then you may want to go get him quick. But if he is still floating around there as training camp is going along and we get close to preseason, then I definitely can see maybe Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears going and adding a guy like Hunter Renfrow. And personally, even though I think it is a luxury addition for this football team, I would definitely welcome the addition of Hunter Renfrow as the number 4 wide receiver on this already loaded offense for the Chicago Bears football team. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Do you think Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears should consider signing Hunter Renfrow and making him the number 4 wide receiver on this already loaded Chicago Bears offense? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.